are tuned in to your dose of positivity.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hey everyone, it's Marlene of Marlene Motivates, and welcome to your dose of positivity. I am your channel for positivity, motivation, inspiration, and self improvement, also mindset shifting. Thank you so much for being here. If you have just come into this channel, hit the subscribe button. Like this, share this out on your social media streams. And for ways to support me further, there is channel memberships. And I also have linked my Amazon wish list if you choose to. So, welcome to everybody who is here. I really appreciate each and every one of you being here. I hope you all are well and you've had a great day. It's Wednesday. So, we're going to get right into this topic. And hey, Rudy, how are you doing? Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. So, everybody, today we're talking about manipulators. And don't we all know some who are manipulators? And it's very important to talk about these topics about manipulation because there are just so many issues. There's so much issues out there, and it's so much people who are manipulative. So, we do have to have these conversations to talk about it and also to let other people know that it's not okay to um it's not okay for what the manipulative people do, but also it's very important to have these conversations. So we're going to talk about these manipulative people and how they work and why it's so important to have discussions about these manipulative people. So I found some information on the internet that was talking about these manipulators. So where is my notebook? Hold on one second, guys. Okay. Thank you so much for your patience. So, we're talking about a person who is a manipulator, right? So, a manipulative person is a person who controls or influences others in a clever way. So, they will find a way to get into certain people, into their mind. That's how it starts. They try to manipulate you in your mind, and they especially prey on those who are weak minded, those who really have some low self esteem issues, or those who are going through certain things and they are in desperate need of a relationship. So it means that they're lonely. It means that they are going through so much. Hey, baby girl vibes, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you and everybody. If everybody could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. So, we all know people who are manipulative, right? But I'm speaking of those who are manipulative, especially when it comes to those in romantic relationships. They're always seeking to do something to get you to depend on them 100%. They're trying to control your money. They try to control you. They are very dramatic, and what they do is they put things out there to cause you to have some doubt, and then they turn it around and make it seem like it's your fault because you caught them in their drama and you caught them in their lies. Yes, happy hump day. Happy hump day. Yes, it's so true. And what I want to do is to have this conversation to bring some awareness, to let every single person know that a person who is a manipulator, not just in romantic relationships, but with your friends, with your siblings, with cousins, with friends in the workplace. There's so many who are manipulators, and it's very important to have this awareness and to know that you don't have to take it. You don't have to be used, and we need to know who they are so we can identify them and know when we see it, and know also how they work. But the most important thing is putting it into action. When we meet these manipulative people, what are we going to do about it? Okay. So let's talk about point number one. These who are manipulators, number one, they have harmful behaviors and they avoid responsibility. So they take no accountability for the things that they do, motivators. They no accountability. They blame everybody for their life, for their problems, because they're in financial situations, because they make poor decisions, because of whatever it is. There is no responsibility. There's no accountability. It's everybody else's fault. And especially, they are blaming you for, because if it wasn't for you and if you didn't do that, they never act like they are a grown person. They always portray themselves to be a victim of the circumstance. They're a victim. So many things happen to me, like they want everybody to feel bad and sorry for them so that they can continue to allow them to have this bad negative behavior. Yes, so true. Awareness, very necessary to stay clear, very necessary. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because I've been around manipulative people my entire life. And it hurts so bad when the people who are the manipulators are your very own relatives, your very own siblings, the very people that you know in the workplace. There's manipulators everywhere. Especially there's manipulators in your relatives, and they prey on that because you care about them. They always use that card, the family card, and feel that because I'm your family, I can manipulate you and use you, and you must do exactly what I tell you to do. Yes, baby girl vibes. It's so true. Hey, Shay Love, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. We got a member in the house. I really do appreciate you. Yes, yes, we speak it today, baby girl vibes. So, one thing that I don't like is the manipulators with their toxic behavior. And they really do have the toxic behavior. They start drama, and it's like they throw shade, they make problems, and then they walk away. They hurt people, and they feel like they didn't do anything. It's just you, or that's how you're taking it, and it's not that way. We have to call a person out for what they are, for what they do, and to let them know that I see you. I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to let you get away with it. There are some that are very afraid to speak up, especially in your family. When it's your relative that is a manipulator, all they do is go from one person to the next, finding ways that they can take from them, use them, manipulate them, to cause you, oh, to feel, oh, my poor relative, oh, my poor friend, or my poor person in the workplace, so that you can do things for them and that they can continue to be toxic and drama filled and manipulate and use you. See, a manipulator will like you or love you as long as you allow them to. But once you call them out, once you identify and say, this is what you're doing, I know exactly what you're doing, I know the game, you're not fooling me, that's where the trouble will begin with a manipulator. And it also starts going into other areas, like narcissists, gaslighters, liars. It all kind of, it's wrapped up in one ball, but it's all mind games. It's all they're all sources of evil. So you have to identify it so that you can stay clear of them. You really do. You have to identify it, because I have to say honestly, when it hurts a lot when you have manipulative people that you know, people that you actually you do love them, whether it be in a romantic relationship, whether it be a friend, whether it be the person you're in a relationship with, whether it be in the workplace. We do have people that we care about a lot, but at the end of the day, you must care about you. You have to care about yourself. And for such a long time, I was putting other people in my life that I loved above me. It's like I'm here and they're all the way up here. We have to prioritize ourselves. We have to identify toxic behavior, toxic people, and not allow these people to get into our mind and to get us off focus. And that's what they will do, motivators. They will get us off focus. They will take everything that you have. They will compromise your mental health. They will take all of your money. They will use your body. They will use your mind. They will have it all scrambled. You don't know if you're coming or you're going, because you're so used to their toxic behavior. You're so used to your lies that they will have you question, is that really, is that really what they said, or did they say this? If you start to be around people and you start questioning what is the truth and what is the lie, I really don't know. Pay attention. If you start questioning people in your life, you really do have to question it. You really do. You have to question these things, and you have to question these people. Hey, puzzle pieces, how are you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Member in the house. Hey, Boss Life Online, how are you doing, Gio? Welcome in. Got a member and a mod in the house. Appreciate you guys. Hope everybody is well. Hey, James, how are you doing? Welcome. Member and mod in the house. Shout out to you guys. I hope everybody's doing awesome today. And do you have those in your family, within your friends? Do you know some that are manipulators? Let's talk about it. We have to talk about manipulative people to get to the root of it, and also to ask ourselves the questions, why do we allow people to manipulate us? That's the question that I had to ask myself. Why do I allow people to manipulate me? Why do I allow people to use me? And to be 100% honest with you all, I didn't think that I could do better. I thought because I had accepted their toxic behavior, because they played so much mind games, I didn't know what was the truth from what was the reality, until I started writing things down, until I started saying, you said this yesterday, but today you're saying this. So when things aren't adding up, when the math is not mathing, okay, and you start saying, I can't trust them. This is when you know that you may have a manipulator, a narcissist, a gaslighter, somebody with mental illness. It's a lot of things that get wrapped up in this ball of manipulation, manipulative people. And we have to have these conversations. We have to identify and say, if somebody is playing games with my mind, with my money, with my time, someone is lying to me all the time, I can't trust you. No, you don't have to take it. Just because somebody is your relative, just because you may be in a relationship with somebody, just because somebody is a coworker, just because somebody is your friend, it does not make it okay. All right? It doesn't make it okay. We definitely have to um call it out. We definitely have to call them out. We definitely have to say, I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing, and I don't have to take it. I don't have to take what you're doing, and I'm not going to allow it. Don't allow people to treat you in a bad way. Don't allow people to use you. Don't allow people to play mind games with you. See, the whole thing about it is for a long time, I didn't think that I deserved better. I didn't think that I didn't think that I had any choices. And I'm here to tell you all that we do have choices. Each and every one of us has choices. You have a choice whether you're going to allow someone to use you. You have choices on who you give your money to. You have choices on who you spend your time with. You have choices on the people that you have conversations with. You don't have to talk to everybody just because they're your relative, just because they're your friend, just because you know somebody for a long time. When somebody is toxic, when someone is manipulative, when someone is using you, hmm, when someone is using you, when somebody's playing games, you don't have to take it. Okay? And we have to understand how they work. So, this is another one. When we talk about a manipulative person, point number two, they conceal their true intentions. So, they've said something, and then you find out that it's not that. That's not the reason why they're asking certain things. And I believe it was yesterday when we were talking about love bombing, and it's another one of the tactics that they use. So they will say one thing so that they can get you to do what they want you to do. So you people will conceal things, but we have to be paying attention. We can't go by the emotions of how we're feeling. See, feeling your emotions can get you all scrolled up sometimes, and we have to pay attention and say, you know, what they're saying is not adding up. And don't go by, I love, they'll tell you, I love you, I care about you, we're in a relationship, you're my cousin, you're my sister. No, that's a tactic to get you off the focus from looking at their poor actions, their bad behavior. Don't let another person use you. See, we deserve better than that, motivators. We don't have to settle. You don't have to settle for friendships. You don't have to settle with your relatives. Even though we can't choose who is born into our family, we can. I mean, into our relatives, we can choose who is our family. Yeah, you can make your circle of love. Not everybody that has the same blood running in their veins is actually good for us. There are some who are our relatives, and they are the most toxic, the meanest, the most evil, conniving, every word that you could say in the book. That's what they are. So I wanted to have this conversation to say that, and to say, pay attention to those who conceal their intentions. They will say, hey, I was just calling to check on you. But after a little bit of talking to them, you find out that it's not really to check on you. It's because they want something. What is their true intention? What is their motive? And we're not mind readers. We can't always know what other people's intentions are. But if you start paying attention that every time this person calls, they want something. They want something financially. They want you to do something for them, or they only want you to listen to them and they never listen to you. So it's a taking thing. Take, 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 take. More, more, more. Do more for me, do more for me. Very selfish. So if you're around these manipulative people and you see that they're never asking you how you're doing, what do you have going on, or they're never willing to do something nice for you, we all deserve that. We deserve to have someone that does something nice for us, that takes care of not only our mind, fortifies our spirits, makes us feel good about ourselves, or tells us, sit down, take a rest, or they're willing to do something, even a small kind deed. It doesn't have to be huge, big things, but somebody even say, hey, let me buy you something for lunch. Let me do this nice for you. You sit down. Let me wash your dishes. Let me pay for a tank of gas for you. Those are people who will pour into you. You don't have to ask people to do kind deeds for you. People who care about you, people who are concerned about you naturally will. They'll call you and say, hey, what's up? What's going on? Just wanted to see how you are. I was thinking about you. I love you. And love is not just a word just thrown out, they prove it. So, my question to all of you motivators are the people in your life proving by their actions that they actually do love you? Hmm. That's something that we have to ponder on. We have to pause. We have to think about it, because it's easy to say those three words, I love you. But where is the proof? The proof is in the action. The proof is what they will do for you when you don't even have to ask. That's what that's what I'm talking about. That's the thing that's the most interesting to me, that you can see that I need something. Somebody shouldn't have to tell you what you need. If you know somebody for a while, you know. You know what a person likes. You know what a person needs, and we have to pay attention to that and not just go by, I love them. No. Let's not get drawn into by those three words. It has to be more than just the words, I love you. What is that love going to do? Love is an action word. Yes, and we owe it to ourselves. Hey, Miss Tamika, how are you doing? Welcome in. Mod in the house. Happy Wednesday to you. Yes, be aware of those who help themselves to your time and belongings without asking or caring if you like it or not. Yeah. Like they'll tell you what you want. No, it's not what they'll try to tell you what they want so that they can get in line to get exactly what they want. Um and that's something that we don't need. We don't need that. We need way more than that. We need way more. Yes, love is something we do. And I used to be a person all the time that wanted to hear it all the time. I love you, I love you, I love you. But then when I started to become more mature, I realized that while it's nice to hear, I think everybody from time to time needs reassurance that they are loved. But you want to hear love from people who actually are proving it. And it's not toxic. It's not manipulative. It's not the mind games. It's not I love you if, conditional. We don't need the conditional love, and that's not love anyways. That's mind games, that's drama. Okay, don't be fooled, motivators, into thinking that the words are more important than the actions, because they're not. Let's get into point number 3, everybody. Manipulators, they cause doubt or confusion. Cause doubt or confusion. So when we ask ourselves some questions about certain things, like the people that we have in our life that are those manipulative people, relative, friend, romantic relationship, workmates, or colleagues, what are they doing? And the things that they're saying, do they make drama? Like when they're around, manipulative people love to start stuff. They'll make all this, and then you get there and you're like, wow, what is going on? and you'll see them, they just walk away. They like to start mess. They always are in the middle of stuff, and they will always do things and say, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything, because they don't accept responsibility for their actions. They're never sorry. They will never change. One thing that I learned about manipulators is they 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 do wrong. They're always involved in mess, and they will never ask themselves the question, why am I always involved in drama? Why am I always involved in mess? Why don't people like me? Why don't people like me? I feel like that's a very profound question. Why don't people like me? If you find that people don't like you and it's the same thing all the time, we may need to go and look inside of ourselves and ask ourselves, why am I always involved in this? What am I doing? Yeah, that's how we experience personal growth. That's how we keep friendships. That's how we show that we love people. I'm willing to show by my actions that I'm going to make some changes, because I don't want to be a hard person to deal with. And this is the fourth point. Manipulators, they have these tactics: gaslighting, lying, blaming, criticizing, and shaming others. They will make you look bad so that they can look good, so that they can be the person shining and illuminating when they're the problem person, okay? So pay attention to all of those things. Pay attention to the tactics, right? Pay attention. And we really do have to pay attention to the tactics of manipulators, and how they work. This is how they work, everybody. Blaming. It's you, and never them, right? They criticize you. They make fun of you for what you do. But really, the criticism is because you call them out, because you put them in the spotlight and say, I know what you're doing, and it's not right. And you need to stop doing that. See, they don't like that. This is when they get angry. Manipulators get so angry when you say, I see what you're doing. I know your game, and I don't have to take it. You know, it's doing this. It's the same old games all the time. It's the same games all the time that they do. And it's crazy because I don't understand why it is that they think that they can get away with it. I don't know if they think that people are slow. But I can say for myself, honestly, I would see the wrong things that people within my relatives and friends were doing, but I wasn't ready to accept it, because I want the same thing. I wanted to believe the best in them. I didn't want to admit to myself that these people that I knew were not good for me, that they were toxic, that they were users, that they played games with my head and my heart. And it's true that can have family members that will play games with our head and our heart. And we got to call it out and say, no, 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 and no more. You don't have to take it, guys. Nobody has to take it. Okay? You really don't. You don't have to take it. You can stand up for yourself, everybody. So let's add my co host, Miss Nexie.
Hi, Marlene.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi, chat. I'm
Yeah,
doing really good. Again, great topic.
thank you so much.
Um, the fact that you said you don't have to take it, I think a lot of us get to that point eventually, right? How long it takes you, I guess, it's up to you, because sometimes people tell you this person is taking advantage of you. This person is actually using you. I've seen them um, saying, I mean, doing this or saying this about you, but when it comes to you, they're always, super sweet, but they're just using you. It's not a real friendship or a real family relationship. And I think a lot of times, getting to the point where you can see that, is what takes sometimes a very long time. And you get used so much that from then on, you start not trusting others, which is sad, but it happens.
Yeah. It is sad, and for me it's so hurtful when you have someone who doesn't want to make any changes. I feel like as we grow up, we should also grow up in our responsibility, our accountability for ourselves. And I've said to myself, there's many a times I've said to myself, Marlene, no, that's not good. Just because you've been doing something a long time doesn't make it right. And I would say to myself, I need to make changes because I know how to be mature, or I'm trying my best to be more mature, more accountable. And there are some that don't want to be accountable. They like not making changes because making changes is hard. It's tough to do, but at the same time, when you don't make changes, then you'll find, why am I lonely? Why nobody wants to be around me? Why don't anybody why are people always saying I'm doing wrong? You have to ask yourself those questions. And it's not an easy pill to swallow when you find out that you actually will be a toxic individual. But then it's about, now that I found that out, I'm not going to get mad. Don't get mad at a person when they're telling you because they want you to grow. It's what you're going to do with that information. I want to be a better individual. I want to be a better woman or man.
Yeah, exactly. I've said this before, and I think I said it yesterday in one of your lives, is that I was an enabler, right? I was the one always willing and ready for everybody, whoever it was. Um, and I want to tell you what happened to me several times, and I had to eventually learn to, like I said, to say no and put a stop to it. So I had a family member who will come to my house sometimes without me knowing. That's when I had the open door policy, right? Come to my house, grab my car keys, take off with my car, and I wouldn't see my car for 2 days, one day, 3 days. Yes. Call her, find out what's going on. Where's my car? I'm going to use it. I'm going to need it. When are you going to bring it back? And no answer. Eventually, my car will come back with an empty gas tank, empty, not a $5 bill for me to put a little bit of gas on. And this went on for several years. Okay. And because it wasn't my family, but my husband's side of the family, I didn't want to say anything. You're like, I want them to like me. I want them to love me. I want them to do all this. And so eventually, a lot of the people that will tell me, hey, you got to stop that behavior. What if something happens and your insurance says something because it's not part of your insurance? Or what if if she gets stranded somewhere, you don't even know where your car is at, you're going to lose everything. So the people that were telling me this, like my sisters and other people around me, eventually they got tired of me always coming up with an excuse, always saying something. So when I started complaining to them, they didn't want to listen to me. I'm busy. It's not my problem. I'm sorry you're going through that, but I'm sorry right now I'm busy. And when I started seeing that everybody wasn't really like on my side, paying attention to what I was trying to say, I started therapy at that point. And that's when I told you I found my voice. And then I started confronting this person. And I started, locking my doors. I started forbidding everyone from coming in just without being announced. And I started asking her for whenever she wanted to borrow my car, I would say, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm going to use it or this or that. And then that person, she started like hating on me.
Mm,
Family parties, gatherings. If I saw her on the mall, at the mall or on a restaurant, whatever, she would just roll her eyes and walk away. And
mm,
then when I went back to my sisters and everybody else that was giving me the cold shoulder, they said, well, we were tired of telling you. You weren't getting it. And then you wanted us to be there when you were complaining. No, you
mm.
weren't listening to us. So why should we listen to you? And that's what happens a lot of times.
Yes, it does. And it's so unfortunate because we want to help people, but like you said, when you get in that mode, because I was in that mode too, I know how to admit when I was doing wrong. I would enable my relatives or my friends or a person I'm in a relationship with because I was so used to doing it. I was so used to being the yes woman, yes, yes to oh yeah, 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 yeah. Until just like you, because I've heard you say it before, people said, "Oh, you don't have to ask her," because one day somebody said, they just showed up for us to do something. I was like, I didn't say I would do it. They say, well, we know you wouldn't say no. I was like, and then I had to
Oh
start,
my God.
hmm. I had to start saying, it is true. I always say yes to everything. That's when it really hit me when people would just start showing up for us to do things together and not asking me. And then I started getting mad. And I said, but it's true. You never do say no, Marlene. So,
Mm-hmm.
once I started to find my voice and say, so because you want to say no, you have to set some boundaries. And that's the times where people really start hating you and saying you're mean. No, it's because now you can't use me and play games with me anymore.
Exactly. And sometimes, Marlene, as well, if you are either married or in a relationship, allowing people to just come in and, do whatever they want in your house or use your stuff and everything, you sometimes start having, conflicts with your partner because they're like, okay, so now I'm going to have to change all of my schedule because of your open door policy, right? This person took your car. So now I'm going to have to be taking you, getting out of my my schedule because now you need a ride, now you need this, now you need that, and this person is over there having fun with whatever it is that they're taking. So conflicts begin inside because of your inability to say no, and which is why it's very important for us to speak on this different topics and make sure that the people that are listening to us around us don't get taken advantage of by people that will never ever appreciate you. Because if you notice, Marlene, these people that we have helped for so many years and so many times, they're the least appreciative of our time, our effort, and everything else we do for them.
Exactly.
Sometimes an outsider is more understanding, appreciates for years the little things that you have done for them and not family.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to say. And that's why I was saying some of the tactics of the manipulators: gaslighting, lying, blaming, being critical, shaming. And here's a big one: undermining the faith in your grasp of reality. Like they'll try to make it seem like I said this when no, I heard what you said. You said this. And also the actions don't match the words. And another one, making you look bad so that they can look good, all of which is like no, 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 I can't do that anymore. And for me, I had to learn to stop choosing other people to look good, to make them happy, and all the meanwhile I was miserable. My bank account is getting low. I started getting behind on my bills while everything they have is paid up and they're happy, they're restful, and I'm stressed out. I said, no, this is not balanced.
Mm-hmm. There you go. I'm telling you, that's for me it was the same thing. It's I started to look at it as okay, you have to take a step back, you know, see who is the one that is coming more to you because they need something, and who are the ones that are coming to you because they really want to be around you, right? You have to take that step back and start writing things down, as you say, because sometimes when they're love bombing us, we don't see their manipulation. We don't see they're taking advantage of us because that love so much that you're my favorite, you're this, you're that. That comes in first before all of the rest of the stuff. So you're so overwhelmed with all that love, and I'm doing quotations like you can see me. All that love gets us in a place where for me was I felt accepted. Oh my God, I just came into the family and they already loved me so much and they accepted me. And then I started realizing that when this person didn't need me, I would see her taking everybody else out to lunch, around the
Mhm.
family, other sister-in-laws, other this, other that. And I was never invited. I was
Mm.
never taken anywhere, Marlene. I was never even brought a piece of cake, a little pastry or something ever. It was always about what this person needed. And
Mhm.
so, we have to keep our ears, our eyes, and our minds very open. When people love you, truly, truly, truly love you, they help you instead of taking from you. They're
Mhm.
giving instead of asking for it. And that's the one thing we need to make the difference, which it takes a little bit of time for you to get this, right? I'm talking, I was younger back then, so I wasn't really well versed on manipulation or
Yeah.
or people using me or anything like that because I didn't come from a household like that. So I didn't know how people could be. But it takes a minute or two for you to get it. But when people truly care, they're taking care of you instead of asking you to take care of all of their needs. That's the difference. So we need to always keep ourselves, like I said, looking from a little bit of a distance so that we can see, is this really love? Do they really care? Or am just somebody that enables them, allows them, and always giving, never asking?
Right. And that's why I always said, like, I know so many of us grew up in that environment from our childhood, that we grew up in the toxicity. You grew up with manipulation and liars and manipulators and all of this. We grew up having that. And when that becomes your norm, it's hard for you to start seeing that that's not good. Just because you've got something for a long time, just because somebody has always lied to you, played games, mind things, and all of that, that doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it right. You have to set the standard and say, like, I'm cutting that off. I'm cutting you off. And for me, myself, I had to move away. That's the only way. I had to completely change my environment because I knew that if I stayed around those that were like that, I was always gonna, because they would just always just stop by and just drop. And no matter how many times you say no, they never would get it. They never would. No matter how many times you say no, they're still gonna try to force it. And oh, it's just this one time, and then it's like other people in the family. It's like, come on, just do it, just this one time. Then the next time, just this one time, just so it's always every time, just this time.
Mm. Yes, Marlene, and it never is. That's the whole point, that we are here trying to make, is that we're not trying to divide anyone. We're not trying to say family is not important. And I hope people can see that that's not what we're trying to do, Marlene. What we're trying to do is for you to be able to be included in the family without people having to ask you for anything, without people having to use you. When you're accepted, people don't have to come to you for anything. When you're accepted, you're accepted. They respect your boundaries, they respect everything else around
Mhm.
you, they respect you as a person. But there are certain families that are so used to that toxicity, Marlene, that they're so used to just taking, putting people down, disrespecting everything about you, about the person, whether new or old, it doesn't matter. You're so used to it that you come into that particular type of family and you get so sucked in. You don't even know when it happened, how it happened, or why it happened.
Mhm.
So that's what we're doing. We're warning about these things because you have to be able to, for people to love and accept you, you have to do that for yourself. And you do that not by allowing others to take advantage of you. You do that by standing up for your beliefs, by standing up for your wants and your needs.
Yep. Yep, I agree with it 100%. And it's so difficult. It was so hard for me to say no to my siblings. But once you start finding your voice, and once they see that you're serious, and oh, if they, like, how, like, they won't take yes the first time. I mean, they won't take no. oh, come on, and it's this, and I don't have anybody. And every time, no, no matter how many times you ask me, it's going to be no. So
Mm-hmm.
go and find somebody else and just tell them I can't do it anymore. So, and it is what it is. That they may get mad, they may block you, they may never talk to you again, and it's okay because now you will be free from their toxic energy. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And if they never talk to you again, hallelujah.
freedom.
Yeah, I've made, since I learned, my boundaries and how to speak up, without fear.
Mhm.
I have made a lot of enemies, but
Yeah,
I have also gained a lot of respect. You
yeah.
know, I have gained friendships that respect me for who I am.
Hmm.
So now, if this other people, don't talk to me, don't want to be part of me, or sometimes my children, I don't care. And neither do my kids. They're like, good. Who
Yeah,
cares?
good. We don't have to deal with them anymore.
Thank
Good.
you.
I'm happy.
Okay, get out of my kid's head, woman. They're like, oh my God, finally, mom. Really? Wow. It only took you 20 years, right?
Hmm.
So you have to, because that's the thing, I wasn't thinking of the example I was giving to those around me that depended on me for their teaching and their learning, right? I wasn't setting anything. So everything was, it was confusion for them, because they will say, like, why are you doing this? She's so mean to you. Why do you still do this? They will think it. They said it to me afterwards, but they will think that. They will say, like, why is my mom always so available? My auntie's such a, you know now that they're older, they tell me, I would always like, oh my God, really, mom?
Yeah.
Or their grandma sometimes, oh my God, there my mom goes, like, ugh. I always thought, why are you wasting time with her? And I'm like,
Yeah.
really? So
Yeah.
you have to, it doesn't matter what kind of link you have with these people, blood, relationship you have with them. Some people are just toxic, and they
Yeah.
have no room in your beautiful toxic free life.
Right. And we can't finish this discussion without talking about manipulators on the job. Okay?
Mm.
That there's so much manipulators on the job and they play so much mind games and they play around with your mind into thinking that it has to be you because you're the responsible one and there's nobody as good. They give you all the accolades, all the kudos just so that they can use you some more. So that's important to pay attention to those. You have to say no and say, I'm not available. I think that's another thing with manipulation. You have to stop making yourself so available to everyone.
Marlene, I think we have to have like a little war game play here now with the chat. I think, how many of you have had that coworker that every other week
Me,
a
me,
family member is
me.
sick, is super sick, or has passed away,
Me,
or
me,
or
me.
the child gets, into some sort of accident, or somebody in the family is always sick, dying, in the verge of dead, and then you see that, it's every other week because it's the weekend they're supposed to work. So how many people, put a one in the
Me,
chat?
me, 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 me. Yeah, yeah, I know. I know because we've all had some on the job that every time something needs to be done, they need to actually do some work. They're always like, "Oh, can't you do it? She's having hard times with her kids, or this, or a relationship, or this is her second job." No, nobody gets a pass. Nobody
Mm.
gets a pass. If this is a job and it's work, why should I have to do your work and you're getting paid and you can sit down and I'm doing all the work? That doesn't add it. I was like, this doesn't add up. This is crazy.
I I had a coworker that, um it was, and this is the thing though, I didn't see it at that point. I didn't see it. I didn't. I didn't do the correlation, right? I didn't know why, but he asked me, if I could cover. He called me the night before. My grandmother is very ill, and I think this is her last night on this earth, and I have to be there for them. I have to drive all the way to whatever he said he was driving. I think it was somewhere like in Tijuana or somewhere over there. I said, okay, you know what? No problem. I'll do it for you. And so, I did it. And then I got to work and everybody's smiling, laughing at me. And I'm like, why are you guys laughing? They're like, oh, you'll find out soon enough. So that's how they left it at. So I did I worked the weekend for him, covered and everything. And then, that happened. Then like a month later, another weekend. Okay. Oh my God. My grandma went back into the hospital. Can you cover for me this weekend? And I was like, oh my God, seriously? Yeah, I thought she was, off the hooks. No, no, no. I think this is it. She's back. So what I'm trying to say here is that this guy took me on for like 3 different weekends. People would just, smile or laugh, but they wouldn't say anything. That what I didn't correlate is that the weekends he was asking were long holiday weekends. you know,
Oh,
that his grandma was always on the verge. And then I came to find out that his grandma had been dead for years. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at the grandma dead. I'm laughing at how dumb I was. But then I also blame my coworkers because why wouldn't you guys tell me that this is what he does? I was new there,
well, I feel like they feel like it happened to them, so everybody has to have their time.
Isn't that rude? But at the same
Yeah.
time, if they would have told me, I would have probably not believed them. And
No, if
well,
somebody told me, I would have believed them.
I
I would
probably
have
would
said,
have not.
okay. I said, okay, I got your number.
Yeah, so every long weekend I'm over there working and he's having a grand old time wherever he was going. I never saw any pictures, but I'm sure he had some.
You should have linked his Facebook. Mhm.
Oh no, I try to stay away from linking anything with my coworkers. But yeah, so I was just the one that was allowing him to enjoy those long weekends while I was working for him.
Yeah, it's so terrible the things that coworkers will do, and even in management, making it seem like you're the only good worker, and I don't agree with that. In management, the management has to do its job and making it equal, right? It has to be equal. It's not one person gets to sit down and the other person should do all their work and pick up the slack for others that don't do their work. If you're being paid, you need to do your work. It's just that simple. Or you can't be here. I was like, I'm not gonna what is I'm not a person who's a micromanager.
Mm-hmm.
I'm relaxed. You be grown, do what you need to do, and I'm not gonna say nothing to you. But if I have to say something to you more than once, you can't be here anymore. I was
And
like,
yeah,
I already done told you. I told you one time, and this is the last warning.
and that's the thing though. But for us it was easy because we pretty much did the same thing, right? So for him it was easy to say we had the same specialty. So can you please cover for me? Oh my God, this and that. So, but management, we just went up and say, hey, switch my name. I'm gonna take his shift. And another thing, Marlene. When it was time for me to ask for that favor, he couldn't. He never could. I'm sorry, I can't that weekend. If it was a long weekend or something, I can't. I had already requested it ahead of time, so
Oh,
I learned my lesson. That was my first job right after school.
mm,
Going forward and after therapy, I was like, nope. Did you request it ahead
yep,
of time? No, and I have an emergency. So do I. I gotta go party somewhere. It's an
yep.
emergency. I need this
Yeah, it's an
vacation.
emergency. It's a party.
So people lose. Some good people lose because you have had this experience. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that sometimes you have to learn to balance, right? Not to be
Mhm.
so cutthroat, like all the way
Yeah.
across. You have to learn. And it takes a while for you to learn to balance that because once you get your voice, like I said, my favorite word is heck no. I can't
Yeah.
do that.
And one of the things that I learned is I appreciate when a person can be honest with me. Like I had another coworker saying, I'm feeling, I know this is my weekend to work, but I'm really feeling burnt out. Can you work for me this weekend and I'll work for you next weekend? I just need some time to relax. They didn't lie, they didn't play any games. They didn't make up any stories. They just said they're burnt out. So I'll work if you work next week, and they did. So if a person can be honest with me, I can deal with you. But when a person is saying all of this stuff, no.
Exactly. But that's the thing though. It's for me, and I get, again, this is my own personal thing, is for me, after this particular job and all the times that I was taken advantage of by this person, going forward, it was all about, balance your schedule. you know oh, I just wanted to know if you could do this for me because I am so tired from this. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, balance your schedule, dude. I'm sorry, I can't. Because they make you so angry because they took advantage of your kindness, that after, at least for me, after that, I was like, nope, sorry, nope,
Yep.
don't even bother, nope. I will stop
Yep.
them mid-sentence. Nope.
Yeah.
It won't work with me, dude, sorry.
Yeah. And the only way that I would do something, someone had to prove, because when you have a few people burn you, you kind of don't trust anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to allow another person, if they prove to you, like, I'll come in 2 hours early so you can leave, you know and then
Mm-hmm.
next week I would go in 2 hours early so they can leave. So if it's a balanced thing, I will do
Yes.
balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll come in early so that you can leave early, because that is nice that sometimes you want to leave 2 hours early or 3 hours early or whatever it is, and you do the same thing for them. If it's I'll do for you, you do for me, it's fine, but it can't always be me doing for you, and you never, oh, I'm not available, oh, my kids, oh, this, and it's always something
Yeah.
wrong with them. Oh, my kids, oh, I don't have this. It's always desperation.
Yes, Marlene. And the thing is, like I said, for me, I guess I felt so taken advantage of, that I closed myself to a lot of, favors that I could have done, but I didn't want to, because sometimes I get it. All of us have emergencies. We all have families. But I remember this one coworker that was always something on Fridays. Always something on Fridays. And I would think to myself, I have kids.
Oh, your
My
audio
neighbor, let me
is
say, I
breaking up,
gotta take care of my
Nexie.
kids. I gotta do this with my
It sounds like a robot right now.
kids.
Let's see if it say something now. Say something now, Nexie. I think it was breaking up.
Yeah, it was. It was. That's why I
Yeah.
didn't say anything, because I was like, I heard it break up. No,
Okay.
what I'm saying is, I have children too. I had children too. I had emergencies as well. So that every other Friday or every Friday you have an emergency with your kids, or the babysitter has to leave early and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, I have kids too, and you don't hear me coming up with those excuses. Like, you always have to have a backup when you have kids. So why don't you have a backup? Why don't you plan it around? Because I never said anything because of my kids. The only thing I could say, let's say if my children were sick, is they're sick, I'm not coming in. That's it. You don't have to pay me. I'm not going in. I
Mhm.
can't. But when you do it, when you use it too much, and then you go to let's say another employer, and then you hear the same thing again, even if it's true, Marlene, that their kids this and that, you don't believe it anymore, because you're like, oh, that's a tactic. They teach you, oh, that they're manipulating. No, that's it. I'm not believing. Even if it's true, you start doing that. Now, as like I said, as I went to therapy and I started learning that sometimes we do need to evaluate, right? And see,
Mhm.
maybe it's not manipulation. Maybe she really does need this favor, and reluctantly I started opening up a little bit more to that. But again, still, my favorite word is no. Heck no.
No, and and I'll tell people, I was like, I've been burned a lot of times. I'm like, you're gonna have to prove to me first before I can help. help you because I've been burned so many times. So if you come in early for me tomorrow, then I'll come in early. But I would make them, they have to do something for me first. I wasn't just going to automatically do something to support and help them. They have to prove it. Okay.
Mm.
When you come in early for me, then I'll come in early for you. And we can go back and forth. It's fine.
Yep. Or or how about the ones, Marlene, where oh my God, my hour has come. I gotta clock out. Can you fill up all of the cabinets? Can you please clean these 3 rooms? I forgot that I had them. And that thing happens over and over and over. And you're like, wait a minute. You've been here all day, and now that I'm here, you want me to do your 5 rooms, and because you didn't have time, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to learn that a lot of times you have to go to a job. You do what they pay you for. Unless that person's going to give you half of her paycheck because you're doing this on a daily basis or whenever you work basis. If they don't give you the half of that, then you don't have to. You just have to say, hey, she didn't do it. It's not my responsibility. I'm sorry. But I had a lot of cases like that where people, oh my God, I forgot to do this. Can you please fill it out for me? Oh, I forgot to take the samples down to the lab. Can you please do me a favor and take them down? And I'm like, really? You had all day. And now, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to be very careful because people will manipulate you in the smallest of things.
Yep. And if and I'm telling you, if they manipulate you in small things, they're going to manipulate you in large things.
Oh, yes. Very much so. So true. They will try to, as much as they can, they will try to squeeze out of you either time, days off, or workload. Right?
Yeah. They sure will. And I feel like this is a good point where we should break and go to the after show for members only. So because
thank you for
really
having me,
yeah.
Marlene. I'll see you on the other side.
I'll see you on the other side, members. Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, Nexie, and everybody who is here. And Gio said, this is why I wanted so bad out of corporate. Geez, I'm having flashbacks. Yep, that's how it goes. Yeah, thank you to everybody who was here. And I hope that everybody here, if you have manipulative people, get away from them. Especially those who are our families. We give our family, our relatives a pass so many times, and we don't need to. Hold them accountable. Hold people in your life accountable. Make people treat you right. Stand up for yourself. Say the things that you don't like. Call people out that lie to you, that play games, and you don't have to take it. Thank you all so much for being here. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to my mods, my members. I'll see you members at the after show. The link is on the community tab. I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see all the rest of you motivators tomorrow. Bye, guys. Like I always say, just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. forgive me. I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? I forgive me. I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you?